Alright, I'm here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and I'm beginning the trip back home to Rochester, Minnesota. I used an app called A Better Route Planner to help me map my route home. There are quite a few chargers between here and my home, but as they are nowadays, they don't always seem to be placed at the most ideal locations, and they all have quite variable pricing. Some are free, some are $18 an hour. I used a Better Route Planner to kind of give me an idea what the fastest route home would be from a charging speed, taking into consideration driving speed, charging speed, the capacity of my car, and the efficiency that we're going to see here in these 20-degree temperatures. And I settled on a route that goes through Worthington, Minnesota, and then cuts up to Mankato, Minnesota. So I am going to head now to Worthington, charge up at the Electrify America station there for about 15-20 minutes is what a Better Route Planner says I need. And then that'll give me enough buffer to get me to Mankato, where I'll charge up there and have dinner and accumulate enough to get me back home to Rochester. Here goes a 250 approximately mile road trip in the Bolt EV at 23 degrees Fahrenheit. Alright, I'm going to see if starting the session with Android Auto before I plug in works, because it would just be a little bit more convenient to start it while I'm sitting here before I get out of the cold car and then have to come back in, so we'll see. I'll go to my home menu on Android Auto, click Electrify America, nearby, Casey's Worthington. And then I look up there on the top, charger number 4. So I'll select a charger, go down to 4. You can see that one of them is unavailable right now. And then we'll hit start charge. Now it tells me to plug in, so I will do that. We are initiating charging according to the station. I heard the e-brake engage on the car. Waiting for that number to... Oh, there we go. And we are charging. Cool, so it looks like you can use Android Auto to start the session before you plug in. So Electrify America... I don't know why they have 2 plugs on their charging stations, to be honest. But you can only charge one vehicle at a station at a time. Maybe they made 2 to prepare for a shared charging someday, but at any rate, it's a good thing they have 2, because the other one, as I've found with many of these plugs, had just enough ice in there to prevent me from being able to plug into my car. So I grabbed that other charger cord, and that one was fine. Another reason I wanted to come to this station is to see the cleared out snow for myself. I tweeted at Electrify America, said that the station was blocked when I was here last. And sure enough, just a few days later, they came and plowed it, or someone came and plowed it. Shout out to Electrify America and the local plower that cleaned up the station. I appreciate it. So a better route planner estimated that I would arrive here with 58% of my battery. That was assuming a manually entered 3 miles per kilowatt hour of efficiency. It's kind of like the miles per gallon of electric cars. In actuality, I only achieved about 2.3 miles per kilowatt hour on average from Sioux Falls to here. That's because I drove 70 miles per hour. I had the heat on the whole time, initially at like 70, and then I dropped it down to 61. So I wasn't super conservative with my energy use as such. That in combination with the air temperatures being at 20 degrees Fahrenheit, I didn't achieve the 3 mile per kilowatt hour efficiency that I programmed into a better route planner. So when I arrived here, I arrived with 54% of my battery versus 58% that it projected. Now, that's all well and good. The issue that I'm having with a better route planner right now is that it didn't estimate accurately the charging rate that I would accomplish when I arrived. It assumed that it would take me 16 minutes to get from 58% to 75. It's about 20 minutes later, I've replenished 15% of my battery. I'm trending a little bit slower than what a better route planner estimated. So I'm probably not going to arrive at the time that a better route planner estimated I would, but still, I'm going to follow the plan. I met with a bit of a choice here. It's 101 miles to Mankato. There's an Applebee's and plenty of dining options immediately around the charger there. And then it is 118 miles to Albert Lea, where there's an Electrify America station and a green mill that's nearby. So really at this point, it's kind of a horse apiece. It's up to me whether I want to stay here a little longer and then go to Albert Lea, go to green mill, charge for 31 cents kilowatt hour, or go to Mankato, a little bit shorter of a drive, and have more dining options available to me. Another point to consider, since right now I'm only managing about 15 to 20 kilowatts, there's a charger in Mankato that's free where I can pull about 20 kilowatts from it. So if I'm going to be hampered by the cold weather, I might as well get a free charge, spend an hour and a half charging in Mankato while I eat dinner, as opposed to setting my sights for a faster charger to maximize my charge rate and minimize the amount of time I'm charging. So different options to consider. At the end of the day, I just need to make sure that my range is between, 110 miles and 130 miles, and then I really just have to make a choice on where I want to go eat. All right, I made it here to Mankato at the Snell Cadillac. They have a ABB 50 kilowatt charger. So this particular charger is networked to ChargePoint. So let's see if we can use Android Auto to start this charging session before I get out of the car and plug in. We will click on ChargePoint on the car. And there we are at number 2. So we'll click DC Fast. And then there we are, Snell Indoor Auto Center. It is the, I don't know why it says Chatamo. I only see CCS on there, but we will hit Start Charge. It says contacting station. Nothing on the screen yet. Okay, the car says you can plug in now. So I'm going to go do that. All right, so my phone restarted randomly during my recording of the initiation, but I had to start the charge again after I plugged in. I didn't make good contact the first time I tried plugging in, so we'll chalk it up to that and try it again later. But as far as charging, I'm going to monitor the kilowatt rate as the session progresses. I decided it was worth paying money for this session with the hope I'll at least get above 20 kilowatts time and again. Whereas the other free chargers that are here in the area would have topped out at 20. They would have been free, but I don't want to be here all day. I like Mankato, but not that much. So I'm walking over to the Applebee's. I'm going to have myself a nice dinner, check back in an hour, and see where we're at with the charge. Just adds insult to injury when I have to walk through a gas station parking lot while I charge. Well, my little gamble paid off. It is exactly an hour later. I averaged 30 kilowatts during this session. I started at 20, but eventually the car battery started to warm up and I actually managed to get 38 before it started tapering down as expected once it gets past 50%. So I got an extra 10 kilowatt hours this hour as opposed to charging at one of the free 20 kilowatt chargers nearby, so good for time. That means that I'm gonna take off. I've got enough range, I think, to get me back to Rochester comfortably, so I'm gonna go over there, unplug, and be on my way. Well, that is the trip. I made it back to Rochester. The total statistics are as follows. A total of 250 miles today, and I used 93 kilowatt hours. The last leg here, I managed to do 2.8 miles per kilowatt hour. I had the wind at my back, which really helped. I went 70 miles an hour and had the heat at 63. I was quite comfortable, and it was a wonderful drive, and it really helped having that wind at my back, especially being only 16 degrees according to my phone and about 20 degrees here when I rolled into my garage. Speaking of garage, this time around, what potentially foiled me was a frozen garage door. My garage door was frozen when I got here, so I got out the space heater, put some salt down, managed to unfreeze it. As you can see, I'm here in my garage, which is good because tomorrow morning I am taking off for Winona to catch a train. So travel never ends here for me. But thank you for joining me on this trip, and we'll see you on the next one.